What's up, guys? It's the Showtime Fight Forum. I'm your boy Showtime, where we talk all things fights related. Man, make sure you follow me on social medias at Josh Showtime and Papa Showtime, whichever one you find first. And thank you, as always, for taking your time out to watch. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share. Share. I forgot to mention that part. Now, today I have to humbly take my L like a man. And that's what we do out here, okay? When you say something, you predict something, you're very hardcore in your prediction, you have to take your L when you're wrong. And once again, man, I was wrong. I'm not, too mad about it, but at the end of the day, I was wrong. And this is talking about Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva. All right, one of my favorite MMA fighters of all time, Anderson Silva, who is 47. It fought Jake Paul, who we all know is the incredible troll, who's now taking boxing seriously, and now he's fighting nothing but MMA guys, and he's beating them up. So I want to first talk about my opinion on the fight, the breakdown of the fight, and then what's next for both after the fight. So my opinion of the fight was, one, fun fight. That was by far the most entertaining Jake Paul fight we've ever seen, but not even close. It was action-packed. It was some drama in there. And, Anderson Silva did mostly what I expected him to do in spurts. It wasn't the Anderson Silva I expected fully. I did expect Silva to give rounds up. I said that before. Silva gives up rounds. Silva jacks off sometimes, and he plays around a lot. I have a very mixed opinion when it comes to Anderson. So I'm gonna go to Anderson last. I'm gonna talk about Jake Paul first. And with Jake, did he improve? Absolutely, man. I would say, one, he's a tough ass dude, man. He is tough. That's just simple and plain. I've said this before. I'm not a fan of Jake Paul at all. I've already said before, I respected the dude. I respected him for fighting Tyron Woodley, let alone, fighting Anderson Silva, because fighting Ben Askren is not impressive to me. Boxing and Ben Askren is not impressive with me. Boxing and Nate Robinson is not that impressive. Yes, they got into the square circle and they fought this, that, and third. You automatically get respect for that. But I've already told you, Ben Askren, is the worst striker of all time. Do I need to show you guys the clips? Cool.
Bruh.
But going up to Tyron, who has knockout power, who has literally put people's lights out completely, it's a whole nother thing. And he beat him and then he knocked him out. Respect. To be able to beat Anderson Silva, and yes, he is 47, he is washed. All that stuff is facts. But to still beat Anderson Silva, who still is a pretty decent boxer, is very, very, very dope. That is cool. I can't hate on that. That's impressive. This guy just started boxing. Yes, he's younger. Yes, he's more athletic right now. But he is tough. He took the punches from Anderson. Anderson landed some really flush shots. He was able to eat them. He was able to clinch when he needed to. He was tired, and he still fought on through and dropped Anderson in the last round. Was Anderson Silva really, really hurt? I don't personally think so. But did he catch him off down? Got a flash knockdown? Yes. Yes, he did. And that shows that, one, his power still carries. And two, he's not a person that just wilts. He can withstand, and he's going to go down fighting. So once again, respect. Is he some world-class boxer? Hell no. Is he ever going to be one? No, he's not. He's in his physical peak right now. All right? He's in his physical peak right now. He has 5 years of his peak, and he still has a long way to go to even be considered good, let alone great. So yeah, there's a lot of holes still in this game. He's very predictable in my opinion when it comes to his strikes, when it comes to setting up his combinations and his he jabs. I feel like with his jabs, they're normally only one speed, and then he spams them so much that it really takes a person that really knows not even really know, the person that's been in the boxing gym for a while to be able to counter that. Anderson did counter him a bit, but not as much as I thought he would. But once again, Jake is getting better. Now, Jake is being smart and he's calling the right people out. He's calling out Nate Diaz, who is known for his boxing, but I don't see him posing much of a threat with Jake. Here's my thing with boxing and why I don't think it's a good avenue for Nate to fight Jake. The best thing about Nate is that Nate can eat a lot of punches. Nate gets hurt a lot. Nate will even get dropped a few times. He'll get back up. He'll sometimes even just, play possum and then lay down so you can try to get in his guard. He does that. And he can eat these punches, this, that, and the third, and then he keeps coming forward and he eventually wears you down. Not saying that can't happen in boxing, but one, Jake does punch hard. Two, Jake is still bigger. Jake is still younger. Nate is washed. There's only one avenue for Nate to win in this, in my opinion, which is overwhelming volume. And that is still, and in the instance of doing that, still eating that punch and multiple punches for a person that has a lot of scar tissue, for a person that has been known for getting rocked, and also a person that's known to not do well versus guys that are bigger than him. It's a hard sell for me personally. That's one of the fights where I'm gonna comfortably predict that Jake will win that. Not saying Nate can't win, because Nate can win. Nate is a good enough boxer. Nate is still, I'm pretty sure Nate is taller than Jake. Reach might actually still be on Nate's side. So there is avenues for him to win. And once again, the volume and the activity. One issue that I'm going to talk about with Anderson Silva was his lack of activity. Nate's not going to have that. Nate's going to be active the entire fight. Nate has cardio for days. He's going to be able to wear out Jake. And Jake was at one point at the barrier of like, all right, I'm tired. I can't offer much. And Silva didn't capitalize on those on that opportunity. Nate will. So, like I said, I don't want to completely say like Nate has no chance to win. But I just have a hard time seeing him win if Anderson couldn't do it. Now, here's the thing, and I gotta talk about Anderson, all right? I love Anderson. I already said he's one of my favorite fighters ever. That was not a good look for him. I didn't think, for a 47-year-old man, just say 47-year-old man, that's how he looks. He looked phenomenal. He's 47 years old. However, if we're talking about the person that we just said last year, he's 46 years old, he's fighting Julio Cesar Chavez, he looks great, this, that, and the third. That version was better than the version that I seen on Saturday. That was not, I wasn't as impressed like as I could have been, because I know Anderson is capable of more and he's done more. So it's hard to grade it. Like, I know he's watching, he's only gonna get worse from here. But yeah, man, that drop off was pretty steep for me. One, he looked tired. His cardio was not there. And I think that's the reason why he took some of these rounds off. And his reflexes were still good, but it's not what they were. He still was getting hit way more than I've never seen. Actually, no, I don't think I've ever really seen his face look that beat up. And he's gotten beat up before. And these are bigger gloves. And he, if you ask me my opinion, who was the better boxer that night, I would say Anderson was the better boxer that night, in my personal opinion. If you say who's the better fighter, I still would say Anderson Silva. Who won the fight? Jake won the fight. I'm not saying Jake didn't win that fight. The only reason why I'm saying Anderson was the better boxer and I thought he was the better fighter in this situation was because when Anderson actually was active, there wasn't a competition of who we thought was better. It wasn't that, in my opinion, this is my opinion obviously, it wasn't that close when Anderson was active. But it was the lack of activity, giving up these rounds, literally just standing there, waiting for Jake and letting Jake get off. Because Anderson does that. That's Anderson's thing. He likes to rely on his knockout power a lot of the time, and he'll just play possum, and he'll be like, "I don't care. Go ahead, hit me." It's a bit of his mind games that he loves to do. He tries to psych you out, saying, "I can take your best punch. Oh, you hit me, cool. Now let me be active." And it worked in MMA because they're smaller gloves, but in these bigger gloves, a lot of these guys can take that punch. And Jake was smart. He was very defensive when Anderson was active. When he was terrified when Anderson actually wanted to come up in his guard and he actually wanted to fight in the inside, he didn't like that. Jake didn't like that at all. He literally wanted to tie up. He wanted to get out the corner. He backed the hell up. He did not want any parts of that power. Anderson just didn't want to do it often. I don't know if it was because his cardio and he just couldn't, or he was just was he saving it to the last round? Because the last round he went berserk and then got dropped. I just don't know, but I felt like a good game plan was the fifth round. Pressure, aggression, but smart aggression. It wasn't reckless like the last round where he just literally had no disdain. He had no type of worry about Jake's power. That was just disrespect, and that's why he got dropped. The fifth round was calculated aggression. He was so aggressive, but he overwhelmed Jake, and Jake had nothing to offer. I think if we would have got, at least a little bit more of that aggression, Jake would have probably got out of there. And my biggest thing was, every time Anderson had a really big round, because he had two really big rounds. It was the second or the third, but I know for a fact it was the fifth. He did nothing the next round. Literally watched the fight. After he had a big round, it was like, oh, that's a clear Anderson Silva round. He did nothing the next round for 3-4 minutes, and then he tried to rally out, which made me so confused to say, he must really be tired. He must be conserving his energy, because this doesn't make sense. Why are you taking so many? You're letting Jake get off. He's accumulating points, and now they're gonna say, oh, Jake won this. So, in my opinion, with a better strategy, Anderson wins this fight, and I don't think it's particularly close. With that strategy, he lost easily. I was very disappointed in Anderson Silva. I just thought that he was capable of doing more. But what's next for him? I personally think he should retire. But bro, like, what are you doing? You're 47. You're taking a beating. You're losing to Jake Paul, and this does nothing to his legacy. I hate people that say stupid stuff like that. The man is 47. All right, 40 freaking 7. Tom Brady is washed right now, and he's 45. Now add 2 more years of that, and then try to fight a 25-year-old. Like, come on, bro. This 25-year-old slept the hell out of Tyron Woodley, and Anderson's almost 50. And beat the hell out of Jake. Jake got a beat in that fight. All right, they both beat each other up. So it was a good fight. Like I said, a little disappointed in Silva. Impressed with Jake. Jake got balls, and I'm excited to see who he fights next. I mean, he needs to stay in this lane. He doesn't need to fight a real boxer like everybody wants him to, because he's gonna get the hell beat out of him. But you know, I respect the hustle. I do. I want to hear what you guys think. Do you think this was rigged? Do you think Anderson Silva was a little, was taking these rounds off on purpose because he was paid? I don't think he was. I think that Anderson was being Anderson, and unfortunately, him being Anderson lost him this fight because he was just he wasn't active enough. But like I said, please let me know what you think. Share this video as much as you can. I love you guys for watching, and I always will appreciate it, man. Make sure y'all be blessed.